To think, after waiting so long for this season to get made, thinking about it day and night, wondering when is it going to come out, it's finally here, and it's finished. It feels like an end of an era. Oh yeah, by the way, this video will contain full spoilers for Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7, so yeah, just thought I'd warn you before we get into this. Cue intro.
I see it, and now it's all within my reach. I see it now. It's always been inside of me. And now I feel so free. And there's possibility. And there's possibility. And there's possibility. And there's possibility. And there's possibility.
Hello everyone, and today I'm taking a look at Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7. Season 7 is the final season of Star Wars The Clone Wars, ever since it was hyped up back in the summer of 2018, and when I saw that announcement, I was excited since Star Wars The Clone Wars is one of my top 5 favorite shows of all time. It's probably my favorite thing to come out of Star Wars. I absolutely love it. Dave Filoni does an excellent job with the series, and I have been excited for this show for almost 2 years, and now that it's finally over, man, what a ride this show has been. And we're only going to be talking about the final season since I've already reviewed this show back in December for Star Wars month. But yeah, time to take a look at the final season. Now, warning here, this video will contain spoilers for Season 7. So if you've not seen Season 7 or seen the Clone Wars TV show, go ahead and go on Disney Plus and watch it. And yeah, come back when you're done. So, time to take a look at this season. Now, for the plot, there are 3 arcs that happen in this season, each arc being 4 episodes long, so let's talk about them. The first arc is the Bad Batch arc, where it follows Anakin and Captain Rex working with a group called the Bad Batch, who are all defected clones who have these interesting mutations to them, and they're basically sort of like a suicide squad. They go on these dangerous missions, and they go on this planet to try and figure out, okay, how does the Separatists know our every move and always win, because, you know, they know our every move. And they find out that Echo, one of the members of the Domino Squad, who was believed to be dead because of Season 3, is alive and was basically, you know, being used in order to show off all the plans that the Republic had for battles. And I'll fully admit, when it came to this, I knew Echo was going to be alive, because in case you don't know, a couple years back on YouTube, they released some of these unfinished clips from episodes that were going to be made but didn't, and one of those would have Echo coming out of this chamber alive to meet Rex. And I knew Echo was going to be alive because of that, but I still felt emotional when Rex finally saw Echo, because he was like, I know I have so many brothers die during this war, but now that Echo could be alive, I'm just happy to have one of those brothers back. That is real emotional to me. And I especially loved Captain Rex during this season. And I also loved the Bad Batch. I thought they were hilarious. And a lot of the action during this first arc was really dang good, especially with the Bad Batch, with all their different tricks and stuff. The second arc this season is the Ahsoka arc, where Ahsoka meets 2 girls in the lower region of Coruscant named Trace and Rafa Martez. And they're not big fans of the Jedi because they blame them for their parents' death. And let's just say Rafa has sort of a problem when it comes to, you know, illegal stuff. And because of that, they go on a spice mission, they fail, and they're imprisoned. But over time, Ahsoka learns that the Pikes are working with Darth Maul, and Bo-Katan, one of the Mandalorian people, tells her at the end, hey, we need your help for the Siege of Mandalore arc. And the final arc is the Siege of Mandalore, where it takes place coincide with Revenge of the Sith. In fact, this season begins right before Anakin and Obi-Wan go on their mission to save Chancellor Palpatine from General Grievous and Count Dooku. And even during the arc, they talk about how Anakin killed Dooku. And yeah, basically the Siege of Mandalore arc is where Ahsoka and a group of clones, along with Captain Rex, go with Bo-Katan to free Mandalore from the Death Watch and, of course, Darth Maul. And yeah, that's mostly the plot of this season. And also during the last 2 episodes of the Siege of Mandalore, it goes into Order 66, which we all know was going to happen at some point this season. They're going to get to Order 66 during the climax. and man, they do a great job with it. Now, in terms of the stuff I didn't like about this season, it was, of course, the Martez sister arc. Now, I know a lot of people dislike this arc, and I know I sound like a broken record, but man, I was not a fan of this arc. I'll fully admit, I tolerated them in the first episode and the last episode of their arcs, but in the second and third episodes, I could not stand them. I get their siblings. I have siblings too, and we argue from time to time, but dear God, these sisters yell and scream pretty much 90% of their lines, and it gets so annoying after a while that I'm just like, please shut up. Just shut up and get out of here. And it really stings because, no, look, it does flow nicely into the Siege of Mandalore arc at the very end with Bo-Katan telling Ahsoka about it. But did we really need to sit through 4 episodes with these two sisters? And I'll fully admit, there are some things I liked during this season, during this arc. Like, I like the part where Ahsoka tells Trace that Anakin is her older brother, which makes sense given the sister and brother dynamic between them. And I do like the whole references to Solo, where they had talk about Crimson Dawn and how the Pikes are competing with Crimson because they work under Darth Maul and all. But man, this arc was not very good at all. And it really stings because during some of the unfinished episodes they had for this season, there was one where they had Cad Bane and Boba Fett do a Western duel. You know, those types where both both people stand right next to each other, stand back to back, and then they move a couple feet away, and then they draw their guns like that. Even though it's kind of implied Cad Bane dies because he got shot with 2 blasters. In fact, I'll show the clip right here. Yeah, that. But other than that, that's most of my problems with the season. Just the stuff with the Martez sisters. But other than that, this season was pretty dang great. It has, first off, the animation. It looks like an animated movie at times. I'm not even joking, especially during the Siege of Mandalore with that confrontation between Ahsoka and Maul. It was just perfect. And I know because of Rebels, we all know Captain Rex and Ahsoka will be okay during Order 66. But that doesn't stop the fact that the tension when they got to Order 66 was well done. There was this really well done scene on episode 11 where Captain Rex is given Order 66 by Palpatine, and you can see how he's trying so desperately not to shoot Ahsoka, but he almost does, and it's very well done. And Captain Rex was one of the best things about this season, along with Ahsoka, Maul, and the Bad Batch. I also really liked Anakin this season, especially during the first arc, when he murders the spider guy, which I thought was kind of hilarious. And yeah, and also I especially loved him in episode 9, where at the start of the episode, Obi-Wan's losing a fight, but then he shows up and it's just like, we surrender, but it's a trap. I thought that was pretty funny. And yeah, when it comes to Maul this season, he was freaking brutal and awesome. Sam Winneker continues to shine as Darth Maul and is just fantastic. Probably my favorite scene with Maul is when he's talking to Ahsoka and how he tells her that Palpatine has been prepping Anakin up to be his new apprentice in order to destroy the Jedi, which is very accurate and is really dang awesome. And probably another great scene with him is when he finds out about Order 66 and he's just scared of the clone troopers coming in to capture him because he's just like, they're all going to kill us, we're all dead meat. In fact, I'll show the clip right here. Sam Winneker is fantastic in this scene, as always.
You're all going to burn! We're all going to die! You don't know what you're doing!
Also, another fantastic scene with Maul is during Order 66, when they're on the Republic ship. When he breaks free and to start some chaos against the clone troopers, he is brutal. Like, he stabs a guy with one of the things on the ship, and even decapitates 2 clone troopers. That is awesome. I'm not even joking. We need more deaths like that in Star Wars, I'm just saying. And I also love Ahsoka during this season, especially during the Siege of Mandalore. And I love how she's concerned about Anakin, and she tells Maul, hey, that will never happen. Anakin would never betray the Jedi Order. And it really makes stuff when she confronts Anakin as Darth Vader in Rebels more sad to watch. and I especially love her dynamic with Captain Rex, and I even like how the clone troopers respect Ahsoka so much they even, make their helmets look like her. That was pretty cute. And I also love Anakin's whole like, hey, I got your new lightsabers, but they're a little bit better than always. And yeah. And also the action this season is fantastic, like I said earlier. My favorite action scene is, of course, Ahsoka versus Maul. Let's be honest, we were all excited for that scene, and it delivered perfectly. Some people are saying, oh, Ahsoka defeated Maul too easily. Well, to be fair, Ahsoka has been trained by Anakin frickin' Skywalker and has been doing a lot of stuff. She has been training very hard, and Maul wasn't exactly at his highest point there. In fact, I even like how they make fun of the fact how many times Maul comes back to life, where Ahsoka says, Obi-Wan was right, you are very hard to kill, which is true since they bring Maul back every other Tuesday just to say, okay, we have Darth Maul, can you please watch our stuff now? Seriously, Disney, I love Darth Maul and all, but you don't have to bring him back to life every 5 seconds. And I also love the final episode, how it's Captain Rex and Ahsoka versus the Clone Battalion, and it's just so freaking intense. You kind of know they're going to be alive, like I said earlier, but that doesn't stop it from being intense, especially around the end where Ahsoka is getting shot a little bit and so is Rex, but they find a way to escape. And okay, this is going to be the full spoiler right here. At the very end, it cuts to Hoth, where basically before that, Ahsoka pays tribute to all the clone troopers, knowing that they were basically forced against their will to do Order 66. And I love how she puts little statues for all of them with their clone trooper helmets. And at the end of the arc, we cuts to a couple years later on Hoth, where we see Darth Vader walking up and taking Ahsoka's lightsaber and looking at all the damage that was caused. It is so intense and so brutal, but so beautiful to look at. The animation, like I said earlier, is fantastic. And another thing I love about this season is mostly the character interactions. They're great as always. Even in the first episode of the Ahsoka arc, which is episode 5, the character interactions were kind of cute. There were some funny scenes, I'll fully admit. And yeah, and I also, one other thing I liked was how in episode 6, which was not a very good episode, mind you, but I liked how they did a callback to Return of the Jedi. That was pretty cool. And yeah, what was the last thing I wanted to talk about? Oh, I love how when Ahsoka feels Order 66 happening, like she senses it with the Force, you hear voice clips that were old audio from Revenge of the Sith of Hayden Christensen, Samuel L. Jackson, and Ian McDiarmid saying stuff like unlimited power, he is the traitor, Anakin, and Anakin being like, what have I done? And yeah, overall, this season was fantastic. Also, the Bad Batch were hilarious, and I love their dynamic, especially Wrecker. He's like that type of guy you want to go drinking with. He's just funny. But yeah, that's mostly what I can say about Season 7 on the Clone Wars. It was fantastic, and I loved it. I would give this season a 10 out of 10, but because of the Martez sister arc, I'm giving this season a 9 out of 10. But it's still really dang good, and deserves your time if you're a Star Wars fan. So yeah, everyone, hope you enjoyed, and may the 4th be with you on Star Wars Day. And this season gets a 9 out of 10. Hope you enjoyed, and see you all later next time. We'll see you all later in the next video. Bye. And the season gets a 9 out of 10. Bye.